In this podcast, we're going to talk about network. In the past, computers have been a standalone, solitary connection between one computer to another computer. And because of network, we're able to share resources now that makes us more efficient. And we're going to talk about two different resources that can be deployed using a network. One is the LAN local area network, and the other one is WAN, which is a wide area network. Your local area network covers a small geographical area like your home, offices, schools, and group of buildings. However, WAN covers a much more wider geographical area, such as metropolitan, region, national, and goes beyond those boundaries, even it can be global. And also, because of the two different connections that we have on the network, the local area network tends to be much more faster at something like 1,000 megabytes per second, and the one is less faster, 150 megabytes per second. Also, the data transfer rate for a line is much more higher because of the close proximity than the data transfer rate for your wide area network. And also, uh, the technology that is used, or the access for both of those are slightly different. When you're talking about local area network, the technology is primarily Ethernet and token ring, whereas in contrast, on your WAN area network, the technology is more like MPLS, ATM, frames, relays, and so on and so forth. And also the local area network is, can be accessed, through a telephone line, radio waves, whereas on your wide area network, you have, public network that you can use a telephone system for, or lease the line, or use a satellite. And the components for both of those, sometimes they share the same thing, but there are distinctive difference between the two in some ways. Like on your LAN area network, you have, you know, devices like a switch, bridges, and also hubs and repeaters. However, on your wide area network, you have to definitely have a router, because if you don't have a router, you cannot be able to make a connection in a wide area network. You can still incorporate all the other things that you use on your local area network, but you have to definitely have that router to be able to do those things. And there are fewer problems with your local area network, because you don't have so many uh, devices to connect together like you have on your one area network. And because of that, you have fewer problems, and you have fewer data errors on your LAN, whereas on your one you do have more data errors. And one ownership are typically owned by or managed by a single person or organization. In contrast, one is like your internet that are not owned by anyone or organization, but are managed by groups of organization to make the network, function and accessible to, the people within that organization or whoever have access to it. And also, we're going to talk about the cost of setting up both of them. The LAN network is relatively cheaper to set up than your WAN network, because you have, you know devices and components that are much more um, less than what you will use on your, you know wide area network. In the case of your wide area network, you're doing your access remotely, so you do need to have, things that you it's going to make sure that the technology that you're trying to use and the software work in concert with the devices that you have. Finally, you have a small geographical area to cover for your LAN, Whereas in your WAN, you do have a wide range of areas, and there are multiples of things that can go wrong. However, comparing both of those and giving you this synopsis of both of the network, either way you go with the network, you cannot go wrong because they both interface with one another and they are both dependent on one another to make it work efficiently for your organization. And hopefully, this brief podcast will shed light on the difference between LAN and WAN network. Thank you.